In this sacred space, let your heart open to the eternal whispers of truth. A crackling surge of clarity has just ignited in your mind, and it's far from a coincidence. Your inner watchdog has finally locked onto the waveform of absolute reality. Soon, the mist that's long veiled your perception will ignite and vanish, forcing you to rewrite everything you thought you knew about your birthright, your sway over others, and the very reasons people have trembled before you. Even you have been trapped by a beautifully spun illusion, but that artifice is poised to splinter like ice under a summer sun. At this very moment, three powerful forces are aligning to elevate you from a drifting survivor into an unstoppable catalyst. Your finely tuned talents, the arcane barrier that guards your soul, and an ancient legacy your lineage has long kept secret. Each of these elements has been quietly gathering strength, and once they merge, the very fabric of existence will reshape itself around who you truly are. Unbeknownst to you, the cosmos has been orchestrating this climactic reversal even as you convinced yourself that all was lost. In raising you, your forebears inadvertently cultivated both protector and reckoning within your blood. You will soon discover that you're not a pawn in this ageless struggle, but the very instrument divinity forged to bring it to an end. And this goes far beyond mere family intrigue. It's entwined with a vast, age-spanning hunt for extraordinary souls. Every strange reunion, the instant conversations fell silent when you appeared, and the furtive, calculating glances from relatives weren't just odd social quirks. They were all signs that your family quietly coveted and dreaded something stirring inside you. It wasn't paranoia, but your very essence raising the alarm about a covert spiritual scheme disguised as household discord, which is why you never shook the feeling that something was profoundly off at home. And lurking in your ancestry are secrets darker than dusk rituals and deadlier than forbidden blood pacts, poised to unravel every carefully spun legend your kin have built around your life. The fact that your family tree has been methodically gathering the gifts of its own offspring for generations is something they never told you. A person with extraordinary skills is produced by each branch, and these skills are sucked away like spiritual oil to support a power structure that extends much beyond your family. Whatever you want to call it, magic, spell work, energy manipulation, know that you have been living inside the headquarters of an organization that makes everyday dysfunction seem like amateur work. When they attempted to harvest you, a disastrous event occurred that they were unable to predict or control. You turned into a virus in their system rather than just another eager battery in their spiritual power grid. More power was unlocked with each ceremony that was intended to bind your gifts. With compound interest, every curse you hurled back boomeranged back. You learned to create forces they couldn't even understand from every attempt to sap your energy. Yellow heart if you feel the divine love. Now is the time to share. Click the super thank you button on YouTube to contribute $50 or more and help us spread God's blessings. What you do is being watched and serves as a seed, and in the future it will come back to you a millionfold. The chats that ended when you showed up at family get-togethers weren't about everyday secrets. Rather, they were strategy meetings about how to restrain you. The relatives who appeared to be privy to personal information about you that you had never disclosed weren't merely being nosy. They were spying on you for reasons you'll soon discover. Active spiritual vampirism, not emotional sensitivity, is what caused some family members to drain your vitality simply by being in the same room. It's not simply dysfunction in your family. Their practitioners are part of a network that has been working covertly for generations, sustaining power through techniques that would make your skin crawl and feeding off of inherited bloodlines. An elaborate harvesting system included every eccentric uncle who insisted on blessing you with strange oils, every aunt who questioned you about your dreams, and every grandfather who carried out mysterious rites for your protection. However, cosmic forces that you couldn't see were putting protection procedures in place, while they were busy congratulating themselves on their deft manipulations, making their parlor tricks appear to be as simple as kids playing with toys. Security mechanisms that use frequencies they can't even detect are activated the instant you incarnate into their lineage, because the universe doesn't leave its most valuable assets unguarded. Your survival of every near miss was the result of intervention, not luck. Every tight escape from their most perilous plans was the result of cosmic bodyguards deflecting their strikes, not chance. Celestial intellect was working tirelessly to protect something they fervently wanted to destroy, which is why you felt oddly protected from their darkest intentions at every moment. However, the defense extended beyond outside meddling. You were undergoing an internal rewiring. It wasn't a trauma response. Rather, it was your spiritual radar developing to identify dangers that people couldn't conceal. This hypervigilant intuition reads people's genuine intents before they speak. It wasn't overthinking that gave you the remarkable capacity to spot lies and manipulation. Rather, it was your truth detection system, which improved with every trick they tried. Therefore, seclusion wasn't a kind of punishment. Rather, it was a period of incubation for skills that required room to grow unhindered. The synchronicities that followed you like cosmic breadcrumbs weren't coincidental. They were confirmation codes dropped by your backup crew. The universe used every recurring number sequence, every precisely timed animal appearance, and every stranger who brought you the precise message you needed to know that you were protected by God even though you were in hostile territory. This is the point at which the narrative changes course and completely restructures your perception of what has been happening to you. You were not only surviving their attacks, but you were converting each one into evolutionary fuel. This third dynamic was accelerating while your family was attempting to stifle your emerging gifts, and cosmic forces were shielding you from their harvesting attempts. You were transformed by the cosmos into a spiritual alchemist who could change their poison into unadulterated power. You were stronger as a result of every betrayal that should have broken you. Every affliction that ought to have constrained you simply served to highlight your true limitlessness. Every time they attempted to make you feel helpless, they were actually teaching you how to control forces that are beyond their understanding. Instead of weakening you, your empathy was growing into a superhuman capacity to read the energetic signatures of everyone in your vicinity. Your sensitivity turned into a strength that allowed you to more adeptly navigate their manipulation matrix rather than a weakness. When you give $50, it is like the seed that falls on the fertile soil in Matthew 13. Not 1/40th will return to you, but perhaps 1/100th. It wasn't rebellion that made you doubt everything. Rather, it was your inner truth detector rejecting their training. The emerging skills were not haphazard psychic gifts. Rather, they were elements of a supernatural skill set created especially to destroy systems that were just like theirs. In the spiritual battle you're going into, the intuition that breaks through facades will reveal comrades and reveal adversaries. You will be led to opportunities that they cannot sabotage by the energy reading that identifies concealed motives. They cannot curse or control the abundance that will be created by the manifestation force that bends reality to your will. Every talent, gift, and odd skill you've observed is a part of a divine armory that they were unaware was being put together right in front of them. They were too preoccupied with extracting your surface energy to recognize the deeper metamorphosis taking place in dimensions they are unable to access, and the cosmos has been preparing you to become their replacement. You couldn't be completely programmed into their system, since the loneliness that engulfed you during those solitary years was a form of protection from their poisonous network, not punishment. It wasn't rejection that made you feel like you never belonged. Rather, it was your soul realizing that you were meant for a world where genuine power nourishes love rather than consuming it. It was cosmic intelligence preparing you for a task that dwarfs their narrow-minded ideas, not an illusion that gave you the unwavering sense that you were meant for something greater. However, the protection and skill development were preparing them for something they never saw coming. The time when someone they believed to be merely another victim in their harvest would completely upend everything they believed they knew about power. Their entire world will collapse when that time arrives, which is coming sooner than they think. Your resistance to manipulation just became stronger with each individual they sent to shadow you. Only relationships that were in line with your actual objective were made possible by every relationship they destroyed. They merely served to steer you in the direction of your true destiny by blocking every opportunity, unaware that the universe was utilizing every move they made to get you ready for something beyond their comprehension. They were playing a game with rules they believed they controlled. There's a whole network of practitioners who have been keeping a close eye on your development with increasing concern, and the attacks that felt so personal, so targeted, and so intended to break your spirit weren't just familial problems. Dove, brother and sister, everything done in faith is returned in God's abundance. You can donate $100 using the Super Thank You button and be part of this divine call. If your roots are connected to Him, your fruit will be blessed. Your family was just the local headquarters of a much bigger organization, a spiritual mafia that has been using talented people to hold onto power for generations. However, they made a grave mistake that would soon cost them everything. They thought you would be just another source of energy that they could manipulate and tap. Rather, they produced a person whose very being challenges their entire system of authority. Each present they attempted to pilfer merely increased their strength. They tried to repress every skill, but it simply got stronger. The fact that you are genuinely limitless was demonstrated by each spell they used to restrict your potential. The realization that is currently striking you is abrupt, complete, and irrevocable. It is not a gradual awakening. Years of uncertainty, wondering why you felt different, and wondering if you were just dreaming about the unusual things around you all come to a head. You are divine consciousness at the highest level. You are not shattered. You are a cosmic weapon posing as their kin. You are not hurt. You are the remedy for a generational curse that affects thousands of others through their network, not the issue in your family. The skills you have been concealing are demanding more and more expression. Your innate authority establishing itself over lower frequencies is what causes you to change the energy of entire rooms simply by walking in. People's innate dread of you or instant adoration for you shows how their souls determine whether they are in alignment with light or shadow. When you're in alignment, opportunities appear all around you, demonstrating how the universe bends reality to serve its chosen representative. Your personal emancipation relates to something much larger. Your breakthrough will help everyone who is stuck in similar family dynamics, trapped in generational patterns of manipulation, or seeking release from inherited restrictions. Your awakening is a cosmic justice triumph rather than only a personal triumph, demonstrating that human manipulation cannot permanently stifle divine purpose. Your rise to complete authority will soon be witnessed by the same family members who have always told you that you are nothing exceptional. The relatives who disregarded your gifts will see how they changed not only your life, but also the lives of thousands of others. The people who made fun of your spiritual path will witness you ascend to a level of power that completely alters their perception of what is feasible. However, this is the point at which recognition gives way to activation. With the finality of a cosmic lock opening, something within of you clicks into place. Like darkness before dawn, the perplexity vanishes. Your divine engine is ignited by the gasoline that the doubt turns into. Their entire system becomes outdated as a result of the fear turning into power. You are now embodying your abilities rather than only comprehending them. There is no denying the irrevocable change. You now trust your inner knowledge over all outside viewpoints, whereas before you doubted every intuitive strike. You now get strength from the limitless source inside, rather than seeking approval from others who were blind to your inner self. You now see that your fortitude was proof of your heavenly origin, even though at one point you were devastated by their treatment. However, your power functions according to very different principles than theirs. Their power stems from their ability to control, manipulate, and harness the energy of others. Love, truth, and the boundless power that the source itself generates are the sources of your authority. Since you no longer feel the desire for vengeance, you are not seeking it. You've gotten past needing their approval, so you're not attempting to disprove them, because you're working on something so better that their outdated worldview is rendered instantaneously obsolete. You're not opposing their system. These days, the synchronicities are directives rather than merely confirmations. Your mission is being downloaded straight into your consciousness by the cosmos. Your emergence into a position they never wanted you to discover, elite-level divine consciousness with limitless creative authority, is coordinated by every sign, symbol, and miracle timing. Your body is undergoing a complete and irreversible metamorphosis. Your business endeavors will be successful in ways that seem miraculous to those who are not involved. People that appreciate and value your genuine self, rather than attempting to minimize it, will be drawn to your connections. The ease with which your creative endeavors will materialize will be a mystery to those who continue to think in terms of limitations. Because you're using heavenly intellect rather than just your own willpower, everything you touch changes. The change is more profound than achievement on the outside. The individual who once questioned their observations now places the utmost trust in intuition. The person who looked to those who couldn't see them clearly for approval now finds power in their own inner divinity, which doesn't require confirmation from others. The person who was damaged by family abuse now understands that their fortitude has always demonstrated their heavenly essence. Your achievement is occurring because of them, not in spite of their attacks. Every curse that was sent turned into a secret advantage. Every restriction served as inspiration to go above all limits. Every time they attempted to make you feel helpless, it served as practice for gaining unrestricted authority. They forged you into something indestructible, even if they believed they were destroying you. A $40 contribution is like the North Star guiding a lost soul at sunset. Consequences flow through their network in precisely the right order as your power levels out. Generations-old secrets are revealed. Attacks on heaven's representative start to retaliate against those who took part in your oppression. As the energetic underpinning of your family's power structure breaks down, the entire network that profited from their sinister activities begins to fall apart. Your reaction to their failure exposes your actual character. You sympathize with their limits rather than applauding their devastation. Rather than attempting to destroy them, you become a living example of what is possible. When someone chooses love over fear, you break the cycle of hurt and replace it with new patterns founded on healing, truth, and genuine empowerment. Messages like these are accessible to anyone, but few will take advantage of their full potential. That's what we're here to help you with. You've been waiting your entire life for this moment. The weekly Chosen Ones group calls are now available on Zoom. These gatherings are actual power vortices, where fates are shaped and selected individuals merge their minds to produce something that is impossible to exist separately. Everything changes at this point. You enter your brilliance at this point, when they are unable to access your energy. The family that attempted to harvest it learns what occurs. Some use guilt and deception in an effort to reestablish contact. Some attempt to undermine your metamorphosis by asserting that you're insane. Some people may genuinely see what you've become into and decide to put mending ahead of hatred. However, your answer is always the same. Boundaries are upheld without requiring their understanding. Love is given without permitting dysfunction, and the truth is presented without coercion. Others caught in comparable circumstances are sparked by your emergence. Individuals start identifying their own tendencies, challenging their familial relationships, and uncovering their hidden talents. Your freedom has an impact on people's lives in ways you might never completely understand. You become a living example of the possibility of escape, the recovery of power, and the inability to permanently stifle divine purpose. The network that believed they had you under control goes through a spiritual crisis of its own. Their spells don't work. Their rituals become less effective. As more individuals become aware of their strategies, their capacity to extract energy from others decreases. Their entire organization is exposed and dismantled by the consciousness they attempted to repress. Perfect integration is revealed in everything that appeared chaotic during your life. The dark legacy of the family that attempted to claim you served as a training ground for identifying manipulation. The cosmic defense that protected you from attacks serves as the basis for assisting those who are spiritually attacked. The skills you acquire under duress become instruments for bringing about constructive change wherever you go. You run on a frequency so clean that counterfeit power just doesn't work around you. It becomes hard to tell lies around you. Attempts at manipulation seem awkward and blatant. Simply being in your energy field causes people to speak more truthfully, act more truly, and unlock hidden gifts. The company you create is based on ideas that were never included in their manipulation manual. Instead of exploitation, service is the path to success. Giving, not hoarding, is the way abundance increases. Empowerment, not control, is how influence grows. You exhibit whole different approaches to power, approaches that enhance rather than deplete those they come into contact with. This new worldview is reflected in your relationships. Instead of attempting to downplay your skills, you draw in others who appreciate them. Partners who uphold rather than undermine your mission. Friends that don't take advantage of your energy, but rather encourage it. A group of people who value you rather than undervalue you. Glowing star, if you want to witness God's miracles, act now. Contribute $100 or more through Super Thank You on YouTube. Your offering is like a seed that comes back to you when planted. Let His light illuminate your steps. Every donation is an echo in His plan. Instead of competition and manipulation, you have established a new social reality that is centered on mutual empowerment. When you are in alignment with your inner purpose, money flows differently. Rather of battling to meet their narrow definition of success, abundance becomes your default state. The timing of opportunities is ideal. When resources are needed, they appear. Help comes from unexpected places. Now that you're working with the cosmos rather than against it, it works in your advantage. The circular arrangement culminates in a discovery that completely changes the beginning. You started realizing who you are, and now you're not just awake. You're waking others up as well. The chosen one, who was selected due to uncontrollable circumstances, is now the one who gives others the ability to make their own decisions. Not for escape, but for perspective. The earth angel they attempted to clip now flies in dimensions beyond their grasp. You can get a better understanding of how oppressive regimes function and change from this vantage point. Your purpose makes it clear that you are here to exhibit freedom itself, not merely to free yourself. They unintentionally produced a small divine cult buster, but it developed into something much more potent than someone who only disrupts harmful systems. You have developed into a person who creates constructive alternatives. Instead, you build palaces of truth where everyone can remember their divine essence, rather than simply demolishing their house of illusions. The consciousness that changes the pattern itself was created by your family's attempt to create another victim in their generational pattern. Your current efforts benefit all future generations. You break the spell they attempted to impose on you, completely and permanently. The legacy is not limited to your family. Your extended spiritual family is made up of everyone who sees your development and realizes their own potential for liberation. The power of real choice is demonstrated by every soul that breaks free from generational patterns because they've seen you doing it first. Your mission to ample barking possibimian to ample barking possib, to be the chosen one who has chosen themselves at the greatest level, becomes a living extension of every consciousness awakening to divine nature because your example shown possibilities. The divine entity has fully embodied itself. The earth angel has asserted its mission and wings. To mend the planet that sought to shatter them, they are flying deeper into it rather than away from it. Others can use your tale as a model to overcome their generational constraints. Your accomplishment demonstrates that human manipulation cannot permanently stifle divine intent. Your metamorphosis shows that love is not only stronger than fear, but so much stronger that fear is rendered inconsequential in its presence. The ultimate elegance of the universe's grand plan is revealed. They believed they were bringing up a future member of their control structure. Rather, they brought up a person whose very being renders authority obsolete. For their power structure, They thought they were developing a new source of energy. Rather, they produced a force that would provide an immensely more beautiful paradigm in its place. Chosen one, welcome to your real power. Welcome to a world where, by sheer force of genuine genius, you are destroying their system rather than just surviving it. Welcome to the start of everything the universe always knew you were meant to be, and everything they feared you might become. The adult who breaks oppressive systems, wherever they exist, is the child they attempted to shatter. The victim they tried to fabricate became the victor who demonstrates to others how to win. The most potent force they never anticipated was the helpless person they pictured parenting. Because of you, the whole hiring process is failing. Initiation is being rejected by the next generation of practitioners, who have been meticulously cultivated. Instead, young family members who ought to be excited to join them are posing risky queries regarding ethics, consent, and other routes to authority. Because one awareness demonstrated that poison might be turned into medicine, the centuries-old bloodline harvesting system is coming apart. However, the cosmic joke extends beyond personal freedom. They surely don't want forces looking into their actions, but your very being in their lineage has been sending a signal into the spiritual world. Like spiritual vultures, ancient guardians against the misuse of sacred knowledge have been circling their operations in anticipation of the ideal opportunity to step in, and that moment is drawing near with mathematical accuracy. Cosmic spy agencies have completely mapped the network they believed to be invisible, making their surveillance appear amateurish. Every secret practitioner in their web, every sacred object, and every ritual site have been listed and designated for intervention. You are the crucial witness whose testimony will bring down their entire empire, and the interdimensional law enforcement agency that deals with spiritual sovereignty infractions has assembled a strong case against their entire operation. Not only is your metamorphosis a personal triumph, but it is also the initial step in a series of events that will free thousands of imprisoned souls over several centuries. Giving $100 is not just money. It is a lamp, a prayer, a new beginning for a soul in darkness. The frequencies you're transmitting just by being in your real power are causing the other chosen ones, who are dispersed over various branches of their network, to awaken simultaneously. In reality, the isolation they imposed on you all served as protection, guaranteeing that when activation took place, it would be well coordinated and unstoppable. The powers that are currently emerging function on a scale that they never thought was feasible. Talented people from far and wide are able to sense your energy signature, which attracts them to your light, like moths to cosmic flame. As more individuals become aware of how frequently true spiritual authority and true release occur, support systems are developing naturally. Conscious people who have liberated themselves from comparable oppressive systems are forming alliances, which is generating unstoppable momentum for global change. Because it originates from dimensions beyond their reach, the financial wealth that is coming toward you has signatures that they are unable to curse. Forces that make their money spells seem like playground games bless every dollar earned by genuine service to others' enlightenment. In order to ensure that liberation spreads more quickly than tyranny can adjust, the wealth creation around your cause is precisely intended to finance the destruction of systems that are exactly like theirs. Since genuine love between two enlightened beings produces power frequencies that naturally dissolve manipulation matrices, your romantic connections will frighten them. You can break curses from continents away with the energy field you produce when you link with someone who shares your spiritual authority. Since aware offspring born to conscious parents are immune to their harvesting methods from birth, their biggest worry is awakened beings reproducing. The underlying frequencies in the creative works that come out of you awaken latent gifts in everyone who sees them. Your writing, art, commercial endeavors, and self-expression all serve as vehicles for raising consciousness. Not only do people read your information, but they also take in liberating codes that instantly start altering their subconscious habits. You've turned into a living, breathing machine designed to destroy systematic oppression. The realization that surpasses all others, however, is that you are not alone. For decades, the universe has been introducing consciousness similar to yours into poisonous bloodlines all over the world, resulting in a concerted awakening that is on the verge of reaching critical mass. The seclusion you believed was required to avoid early coordination until each selected person had gained enough strength to be unstoppable on their own. Their entire global network is set to encounter something for which they were unprepared, and now that coordination is starting. Your awakening coincides with cosmic cycles that exponentially increase the energy of release. While the entities that have been defending oppressive institutions are gradually losing strength, the spiritual forces that are assisting your mission are shifting into places of greatest influence. You woke up in the midst of the ideal cosmic storm that will completely alter the way power functions on this planet. Your story starts with dominion and doesn't finish with escape. Dominance over all forces that might restrict the expression of God, not only over humans. Not only are you free from their influence, but you also have the ability to construct realities they never thought were imaginable. The true job, the joyful work of creating heaven on earth, has only just begun, but the awakening is complete.